Chairs No Waiting, episode number 168. Welcome to Mayberry. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at Weaver's Department Store. Drop by over at Weaver's, pick up some great Mayberry items. You know, Christmas is over. You got all that money from people who didn't know what to buy you. Drop by Weaver's Department Store. There's all kinds of things there you like. weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by Audible.com. You can drop by Audible and pick from 100,000 different audiobooks and get one for free. And you'll have a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at the end of 14 days, but you get to keep the trial book. Go to audibletrial.com/2chairs. Hello, everybody. I'm Allan, Newsome, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting, and it is absolutely wonderful to have you with me here in Mayberry this evening. Wow, there's probably a lot of you folks that are out there that got Christmas presents this year, and hopefully, or maybe not hopefully, but maybe you're listening to me for the first time and listening to the Two Chairs No Waiting podcast. So, don't leave yet. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be talking all kinds of things Mayberry over the year, and I just definitely want to encourage you to stick around with us and have some fun. And and here's something you might like.
Barney Fife's postcards from Chicago.
Dear Floyd, having the time of my life in this lawman's paradise. Visited the theater where they nailed Dillinger and the site of the St. Valentine's Massacre. If I'd have been around then, I'd have nipped that Capern in the bud. Got my hair done at Dennis Rodman's barber shop. You should see what they get for a haircut around here. Barney.
All right, there's Barney's written into his thing. Folks, we have all kinds of fun here. Now, if this is your first time being on Two Chairs No Waiting or listening to us, I just want to, again, welcome you to Mayberry. So you're welcome to be here. Thanks for coming. And I need to let you know who I am because you're new, first time you're listening, or it may be the first time you're listening. And maybe even some of you folks have been listening for a while really don't know much about me. My name's Allan Newsome, and I am the, I guess webmaster is the right word, for Mayberry, for the iMayberry.com website. Now, I don't know if you guys, I guess if you're listening to the podcast, you've probably been there. But iMayberry.com is the website for the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. Now, you might ask how I got into doing that. Well, years ago, I was trying to learn how to do web pages and stuff, and I wanted to do something, a web page on something. Well, I didn't want to do it on me, and so I did it on my favorite show, the Andy Griffith Show. And from that grew iMayberry.com, and from that, me being Floyd the Barber, which you may or may not know. I go around impersonating Floyd the Barber at Mayberry events around the country, and I've been blessed to do that for, well, since 1994. I've been doing it, so it's been quite a while. And I've also been doing the iMayberry.com website for years now, and started the podcast that you're listening to. Started it a little over 3 years ago. So I've been doing this podcast for 3 years weekly. Wow. It's hard for me to believe. 168 episodes, counting this one, of the Two Chairs No Waiting podcast. And I should also tell you that I not only do the Two Chairs No Waiting podcast, but I also do a podcast called the Mayberry Bible Study podcast. Now, there are only, I think, 3 episodes of that right now, but a new one will be coming out in the next week or so. So if you would be interested, you can go to MayberryBibleStudyPodcast.com and you'll find that podcast as well. Or if you're on the Two Chairs No Waiting site, you'll see a link to it right at the top of the page. So you can go there and listen. And I will tell you also, because if you like this podcast, you may enjoy a podcast by a fellow named Kevin Burke. Kevin Burke does a podcast called Burke on Mayberry. And it's all Kevin, and he goes through an episode of the Andy Griffith Show and describes everything about it, goes through all kinds of detail. The latest one at the time of this recording is called Dogs, Dogs, Dogs. It's his 99th episode of Burke on Mayberry, and it's all about dogs, 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 the episode. And Kevin will cover the entire episode, hitting the highlights, and maybe give you a little bit of trivia along the way. And he does it in about 10 minutes every time. So he's much better at keeping the episodes short than I am. So my episodes of Two Chairs No Waiting tend to be somewhat rambling, but They try to go into detail about some event that happened maybe on the Andy Griffith Show, or some cast member interview, or just some exciting thing I've discovered on the internet. Like earlier this year, one of the podcasts was about Aunt Bee being on Dragnet, the TV show. So you can go back and listen to that. There's a complete listing of all the old episodes of Two Chairs No Waiting right on the website. If you go there, you'll see a link at the top that says episode listings, and it lists every episode that has been recorded of Two Chairs No Waiting, and as well as Burke on Mayberry and the Mayberry Bible Study right there on that page. So it makes it easy to find. You can also just search the website and find episodes that you might be interested in. And surely of 168, there's a few that you might want to go back and listen to and just catch up and see what's going on. But I don't expect you to have to go back and listen to all of them, but there are a lot of really good ones that are interviews with cast members, and not only cast members, but impersonators, the folks who do the Mayberry events as the different characters, the impersonators, as well as some fans as well that we've talked to during that time. So, folks, this podcast is all really about you. It's all about Mayberry, and it's about things that you might enjoy hearing. So I'm always wanting to hear back from you and hear from you ideas for new episodes, things you'd be interested in hearing or learning about, things that you don't know, things that are out there. And the big thing I really want you to be able to do is tell your friends about it, especially if this is one of your first times hearing it, or you've been listening to it for a long time. But if it's your first time, that's exciting, because I remember the first time I found out there were a bunch of other Mayberry fans out there, and how cool that was, because, I thought it was just me. I'm the only one that listens or watches this show, and, there's nobody likes it like I do. And then suddenly I found all these folks out here on the internet that are huge Mayberry fans, and it was just a great feeling to be able to gather with them and enjoy their company and realize you're nowhere near alone. This podcast has got somewhere around 600, 700 people who follow it and listen to it. The iMayberry.com website has thousands of visitors every year, well over the 100,000s, but it's just there's a huge community of Mayberry fans out there, and fans of the Andy Griffith Show. So don't feel alone, and, tell your friends about it, because, there's so many times I find out from somebody that they didn't even know about iMayberry.com. And of course they didn't know about the podcast. They didn't know about the different forums that people have to be able to communicate and get to know one another. And really, folks, this is Mayberry. That's the key. We want you to be able to connect with one another so that you guys can share just some of that love of the Andy Griffith Show with one another. Because I'll tell you, I've traveled to Mayberry events all around the country, and I can tell you for sure that that the Mayberry fans are some of the greatest folks in the world. So anyway, that's my kind of introduction to Two Chairs No Waiting, and my plea for you guys to go out there and share the love. And now I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback we've got, just because this is kind of funny. Ken Anderson, one of our friends in Mayberry here, he wrote into the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board Digest, which is a daily email that you can get, if you didn't know about that, that's all related to the Andy Griffith Show. Now, he wrote in actually today, the 26th, and he was talking about this. He was talking about Mayberry resolutions. It's the first of the year, almost. The first of the year is coming up later this week as we're listening here, because today is the 26th of December, 2011, as I record. And he wrote in and said, well, folks, as we draw the end of yet another year, all the good folks in Mayberry are busy making their New Year's resolutions. I talked with some of these folks, and they shared their resolutions with me, so I thought I'd share them with you. So let's hear some of the folks who live in Mayberry. What do you think their resolutions might be? So here are the things Ken reports that our friends in Mayberry have to say. Ernest T. Bass, well, he's resolving to come into rooms quieter and not talk through his nose so much. Aunt B said she's not going to gossip. Well, not so much anyway, especially about Mrs. Rigsby, that blonde right out of the bottle. Yeah, you know her. Yeah. Opie said he ain't going to say ain't no more. That's good. Yeah, he shouldn't be saying ain't. Yeah, that's good. Barney resolves to keep his bullet in his pocket. Thank heavens, because nothing ever good happens when Barney takes that bullet out. Andy resolves to keep his pant leg from getting caught on the top of his boot whenever possible. Otis, he said he's not going to hit his mother-in-law in the mouth with a leg of lamb anymore. That's good. Malcolm Merriweather, y'all remember him? Malcolm, the Englister that came through town? Well, he's resolved not to ride his bike and read a map at the same time. That's good. A lot of you folks should take that one to heart. Don't drive and read the map. Briscoe Darling, well, he said he's not going to dip his hat in the horse trough this year. That's good. And the Darling boys, well, they're not going to raise their voices at the table. Charlene says she's not going to play huggy-huggy with the sheriff now that she's married. Floyd the barber, he said he's not going to write to the Lonely Hearts Club anymore. Well, that's a good resolution. Emma Watson, well, she's not going to cross the street except at street corners. Well, no more jaywalking for Miss Watson. That's a good resolution there. Miss Crump, she says she's not going to get angry when she's called some third party. Oh, hey, that's good. Yeah, she got that. It's not dirty or anything. I think that's what Barney said. Jeff Pruitt, y'all remember him? Jeff Pruitt came to town looking for a wife. Well, he's resolved not to pick up his little buddy Barney anymore. Not going to hift him up anymore. Thelma Lou says she's not going to glue hymn book covers on anymore. Well, Barney he got kind of jealous about the hymn book covers. Sarah, our town operator, you know her. Well, she's not going to listen in to the telephone conversations. Mayor Pike, he's resolved to gussy up the town again. Oh, well, that's nice. I guess for the film crew that's coming in. Ralph Campbell, bless his heart. You remember him? That's Otis's brother. Well, he resolved not to make those whistling sounds when he eats. Well, Mayor Stoner said he's going to get to know the governor a little better. Roy Stoner, S-T-O-N-E-R. He's going to get to know the governor a little better, Mayor Stoner. Cousin Virgil, he's going to learn a new card trick. That's good. And, you know, Judd, he's not going to shout and throw checkers anymore. You know, he got arrested for that one time, I believe. Clara Edwards resolves not to go wild with allspice for the entire year. Well, her pickles will be different without the allspice, I guess. Leon, he was resolved not to get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all over his face anymore. Mr. Swamp, well, he resolved to learn sign language. And Ben Weaver, finally, he's resolved to smile at least once during the next year. Well, Ben, that would be an accomplishment for sure. Folks, hey, that's just a little fun. And I want to thank Ken for writing that in and just sharing some fun with you. Make some good resolutions this year for yourself and make sure it's got something to do with your family so that you're doing something that's going to be important the rest of your life. That's what I'd say. And I think that's what these Mayberry folks were doing too. Do something that's going to mean you're going to spend a little more time with your family, going to get to visit with them a little more, and just share a little bit of that Mayberry spirit with everybody. And I think we'll all be better off, don't y'all? Yeah, I sure do. Yeah. So,
Adios, amigo. He won ours.
Is he one of ours? Yeah, well, that was Briscoe and Barney, of course. But folks, hey, I really want to thank you guys for joining in with us. We got one final thing that we're going to end up the show with. It's from Ken. And I'll have a link to it online. Now, what it's called, so you'll know up front, Ken, he called this in. This is a call-in thing. If you go to, I'll have a link to it, but it's called the 12 Days of a Mayberry Christmas. 12 Days of a Mayberry Christmas. You can find it at mayberry.info. It'll be there, all the words. So if you want to sing it yourself, you can. This is pretty long, but we're going to end the show with it. It's pretty fun here. So, folks, while you're out there, give me a call. Let me hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. My phone number is 888-684-8415. I resolved to say it slower because people say they can't understand what I said. So it's 888-684-8415. give me a call. I'd love to hear from you, just like I'm fixing to hear from Ken here. Love to hear from you with your thoughts about things going on in Mayberry, your thoughts about some of the other podcasts you've already heard, or just your thoughts in general. I love to hear from you guys. You can also email me at floyd@imayberry.com, or you can go to our Facebook page. We have a great Facebook page for Two Chairs No Waiting. You can go there and leave me a message when you get there, and I can see it there. Or you can just go to the Two Chairs No Waiting website itself at twochairsnowaiting.com and leave a message on the comment feeds there. Any of those ways, we'll be able to hear from you and find out back from you what's going on. So, well, let's go without any further ado here. We're going to go in and we're going to hear from Ken Anderson, who was able to call in and sing a song for us. That's the 12 Mayberry Days of Christmas. And, 12 Days of Christmas is pretty long. So we're going to end up the show with that. So when it's over, we'll be done. And I want to thank Ken for taking the time to do this. And I want to thank you for joining me on Two Chairs No Waiting. So let's hear from Ken.
Here's a special Merry Christmas to you, Allan, from Ken Anderson. This is a song for Mayberry. It's called The 12 Days of Christmas, Mayberry style. On the first day of Christmas, my true love came to me, a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 2 empty cells and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the third day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 3 crying birds, 2 empty cells, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 empty cells, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 fun girls, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 6 shiny bullets, 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 fun girls, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the seventh day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 7 rocks a-flying, 6 shiny bullets, 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 fun girls, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 8 stills a-brewing, 7 rocks a-flying, 6 shiny bullets, 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 fun girls, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 9 thieves a-thieving, 8 stills a-brewing, 7 rocks a-flying, 6 shiny bullets, 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 fun girls, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 10 goobers gassing, 9 thieves a-thieving, 8 stills a-brewing, 7 rocks a-flying, 6 shiny bullets, 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 fun girls, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 11 preachers preaching, 10 goobers gassing, 9 thieves a-thieving, 8 stills a-brewing, 7 rocks a-flying, 6 shiny bullets, 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 empty cells, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 12 drunks a-drinking, 11 preachers preaching, 10 goobers gassing, 9 thieves a-thieving, 8 stills a-brewing, 7 rocks a-flying, 6 shiny bullets, 5 kerosene pickles, 4 broken windows, 3 crying birds, 2 empty cells, and a hoot owl in a pine tree. Merry Christmas to you, Allan. I just realized I made a couple mistakes on there with the 2 cells and the 2 fun girls. Well, have a Merry Christmas, and thanks for all your great work.